Welcome back, guys. My name is Austin from awfulmedia.com, and this is part 12 or something of the Making a Simple Game in Unity tutorial series. Now, in this part, we're going to be looking at fixing a couple of issues that we have with the game. Those issues are, one, when you run into a wall, such as this one right here, and I'm pushing forward, and I'm also going to be pushing to the right, notice we don't even move. Well, sometimes I do move. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? So the issue here is we can fix this with a Physic Material that is different from the ground material. We'll make two different ones. I think we'll try that and see. But the problem is, I believe, is that I am forcing the player forward, right? And there is a wall there. And it is telling me, hey, you can't go this way, but I keep forcing it that way. And so it's just pushing the player against it and then pushing to the left and to the right. Obviously, that will cause some friction, especially when you're working in a physics engine that is fairly competent that does work that way. Now, I wouldn't say this is a realistic result of how physics would be applied in the world, but it's doing it for us, so we have to work around it. And one way I'm going to do that, and I'm going to try to do that at least, I've not tried this method yet, but it's the only one I can think of, so we're going to give it a shot. I'm going to make two Physic Materials. The first one will be for the ground, so I'll make a ground material. And then I'm going to make a wall material. Now, the ground one is going to be the same, and I'll make sure that is applied. Let me uncheck the play there. I'm going to apply that to the ground, and then the wall material, wall material. The one thing we're going to change is the friction combined. I'm going to set that down to minimum. And then I'm going to apply this to that node. And now if everything's fine, we should now be able to walk while being forced against it. There we go. Now I'm walking while being forced against it. This is my normal speed. Oop, it's hard to... Normal speed. It's not normal speed. Normal speed. Still kind of slowing me down, isn't it? A little bit it is. I guess that would work for us for now, but it's slowing us down a little bit. But as a comparison, let me run into this wall over here and just show you how much better this is, okay? So that was before, and this is now. So big difference. Maybe not be a complete fix. It may not be a fix at all, but it makes this not seem completely broken, which is fine with me for now. Now, really quick, this game is pretty much done for the series at least. This game is pretty much done. I want to move on to other things with Unity, different games, different things. So I'm just doing this to kind of fix a couple of the big standing issues and to get it to a better point where I can say, yeah, I'm okay with that being done. So this is one of those things. The next thing is, if you notice, if I was to come out here into an open space and I select my player in the hierarchy, you can see over here my X, Y, and Z. Notice the Y, however, is changing with me just sitting here, and that's because gravity is being forced on me no matter if I'm on the ground or not, and this is causing the physics to be kind of a little crazy. And I mean, gravity is applied to me right now sitting in this chair, right? But it doesn't work as well in a game world, apparently. I don't know, it's just something with Unity. But one thing this causes for us, for whatever reason, is if I move to the left and to the right, notice I am moving on the X and the Z. And I should not be moving on the X and the Z. Moving up and down, also moving on the X and the Z. But if I uncheck gravity, and now I move on the left and the right, just my Z is moving, not my X. So clearly, this issue is stemming from that gravity thing, right? So gravity being applied to me while on the ground is causing the issue. So how do I fix that? Well, it's going to be just a workaround, I think. I don't know if we caused the issue or if the issue is just something that is there and we have to always work around it. One thing I want to do, though, is I'm going to check to see when I am on the ground. And when I am, make gravity be 0. And when I'm not, apply gravity. So one way we can do that is we can send a ray from our player downward, and if it hits the floor, stop the player's gravity. So we can limit the distance of the array. So a ray is like a little laser, okay? It's going to be going from point A to point B, or in our case, from point A towards a direction for a certain distance. And this is going to be good for us because we can send a ray out and then detect what it hits and where it hits and when it hits or whatever. So this is good for us because I can send it down, and if I hit something that is a collider down there, then I will stop the player's gravity. That way, whenever we're on the floor, no gravity will be applied. When we're off the floor, gravity will be applied. And that seems to be the best way to go about doing this, so I'm going to hop in here and go ahead and start writing that up. The beautiful thing about this is it's going to be super simple for us to do. Now, we've worked with an inline if statement before, right? And it was super easy. One thing I'm going to do is we're going to go through the physics class, and we're going to go to the gravity. There's physics, and then you have gravity, right? Now, gravity is a vector 3, so you have x, y, and z. You can have gravity on your x, on your y, and on your z. But in a game world like ours, we only have gravity on the y, which is pushing us downward. So it's a negative value on the y, pushing our player downward. So we need to set a new vector 3 for this, and I could do that by saying new vector 3 as that being setting that equal to. But one thing we're going to do is we're going to do an if check to see if our ray hits the floor. And one way we can do that is within our inline if statement. Again, I've done this before. It may look confusing, so make sure you go back to that part. Where did we do an inline at? I'm curious now. Where did we do an inline? I'm saying we did one where I explained it there, but I am not seeing one. There's nothing there. Nothing in the player. Oh, here it is. So we have can load level equal to level to load is less than. So we're doing a condition here. We're comparing these two that would return a Boolean, saying if that is true, make it true. If that is false, make it false. So this will be another example of that. So the Boolean we're going to be having to return, though, is the Raycast. So the Raycast will return true or false based on if it hit something or not. If it hit something, it comes back true. If it did not hit anything, it comes back false, obviously. And one thing you can do with Raycast that we're not going to be doing is set up a hit variable or an information variable that would give you the information of the object it hit, such as the coordinates of the object, any information you want, any component you can grab, you can get information from. So if you hit the object, you know the object. But we don't need that information. All we need to know is if we hit something or not. So to do that, we're just going to return, we're going to go through the physics class, go to the Raycast method, and Raycast is going to return true or false for us. And the first thing, the parameter we're going to need is the position the ray starts at. Notice there's a lot of options here, 12 total parameter sets that we could use. We're going to be looking for the origin, direction, and distance. So the origin is the transform dot position. So we want to come from the player. The player class is attached to the player object. Therefore, the transform.position in this class would be the position of the player. Next, need a direction. So the direction would be down, right? So how do we get down? Well, we could do a new vector 3 and then say down would be 0 and then -1 on the y and then 0. So that would be in the downward direction because -1 on the y is up and down, and then negative would be in the lower half of the axis. So that would be down. But there's already something set up that we can go through. Then go through the vector 3 and then go dot down. And that would give us the exact same result. 0, -1, 0. I mean, there's also one for up. There's also one for back. There's one for forward. There's, you can go through the vector 3 and grab all these different values that are already predefined for you when you need a direction. So that is good for us. So we can do vector 3 dot down. And now we need a distance. So we know our cube was 1 unit cubed, right? So it's 1 unit in unity. I believe it's 1 unit. Was it 2? No, I think it's 1. And then we scaled it down to, it looks like right here, 0.6. So we need about 0.6 for the distance. Just a rough thing for now. So we have our Boolean check there, and then we need to set up values that it can be equal to. I don't know what I did there. So the first one is if it is true, I want gravity to be 0. So I could do physics, or not physics, not gravity. We already got the physics, not gravity variable there. So I could set it to vector 3.0, and that does the same thing that vector 3.down does. It gives us a predefined value, which is 0, 0, 0. Again, we could do new vector 3, 0, 0, 0. No reason to, though. We already have it set up for us. Else, if that is not true, if that Raycast does not hit anything, I want to apply the same gravity that we apply everywhere else, which I think is a bit low anyway, but for now we'll just keep it the same. I think it's like 0.9, so we'll do 0, negative 0.9, or 0.95 F, and then 0. So that is all this should take. Let me see if I wrote that right. Of course I did not write it right. What did I put? Use on gravity, Raycast. Oh. We need to actually close that Raycast there. The parenthesis, that is a method right here, and all these parameters go within that method, and this is just part of the if statement, so don't need that to be inside that. Uncheck play, no errors, go back into play, and yeah, not 0.95 by the way, I had it right the first time I did it. That was a stupid thing to do. 9.5 is the correct variable, or correct value. So we fall to the ground, and then notice we come to a weird stop, but that's fine. Now when I move to the left and the right, the gravity is not being applied, so we're not going crazy. But notice we're not at the same Y position that we were before. That means we're probably floating above the floor a little bit. No big deal though, right? We can just shorten the length of the ray, so we'll do a 0.45. I'm just putting random numbers in there and hoping it works, right? So now we're at the exact same value we were before when it was dropping down to 0.029 and 0.03. And it should still work left to right, up, down, okay? Notice though that we're floating a bit more because gravity is not being applied to us now that we're on the floor. And that's the thing. When we're on the floor, gravity is forcing us down into the ground. The same way gravity, or our force from our movement, forces us into the walls and then slows us down whenever we're walking against the walls. The same thing happens on the floor. So now that that's not happening, we're sliding a lot more than we were before. So I can up the drag to about 8, and that should give us about what we want, or what I want. I don't know what you want. Probably a bit slow now. I don't really know. I don't remember how fast we were before. But I mean, all that's up to you. You know, if you want to modify the speed, no problem. Just change a single value, which I can go ahead and do, I guess. Make it like 70. Doing all this in play mode, so it's not going to save, but that's fine. 70, and then 8. So that seems to... Wow, I floated slowly to the ground. I do want to go to Edit, Project Settings, Physics Player. Physics, and then I want to... that uncheck. Have we done Raycast before? Or was it just messing around with something? I don't know. Okay, so I want the Y, the gravity on the Y to be kind of powerful, like a point, or not point, I keep saying point, negative 25. And then we'll have to set it to that in here as well. Whenever we start the game, we could grab the value of the gravity at the start and then use that to set it back there. But if you want to do that, if you want to make this game something more, please go ahead and do that, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. Fall a bit faster, everything's still fine. But what if I was to come off the ground? Does it set itself, does it add gravity to me? Yes, it does. So there we go. So if I was to fall off the floor, that would still apply. So we just did all this in the world select, right? So if you wanted to do this in your actual levels, please make sure you do that. But I'm not too worried about the game becoming a complete game. I don't care about the levels. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just wanted to teach some stuff. And this video was just to fix a few things that I didn't do properly. And there's still a few things I didn't do properly, I'm sure. But I wanted to get these out of the way before we move on to a different game. But me moving on to a different game does not mean I don't want to ever come back to this and do a few more things. So don't be afraid to leave me some suggestions down in the comments. I'll get to those and read them and see what I think about them. But I posted a video yesterday that asked you guys what you want me to do next, right? The platformer series won the poll, but as a few of you have pointed out in different ways, there are plenty of platformer tutorials based in Unity, actually, on YouTube, and I don't want to just be another one of those, really. I mean, I could probably do one that's a bit different, but I just don't want to, I don't know, I want to do something that not many people have done, if any. And one of those things that came up that was really interesting to me was a runner game, kind of like Temple Run, where you have a track that your player automatically runs on, and then all you have to do is dodge obstacles, jump, duck, stuff like that. And if you hit an obstacle, then you lose, or you go back a certain distance, or something like that. It'd be an interesting thing to do. We probably wouldn't do it based on a path. We'd probably do it where you're running down like a straight street or something, not any curves or anything, but just random obstacles throughout the street that you have to dodge left to right, duck under, and jump over. We could do that. I also had a suggestion for a 2D RPG. Again, there's a bunch of these games out there, but there's not many, or if any, Unity tutorials based on a 2D RPG. And ours would be pretty simple. We would have a hack and slash combat system with very, very simple mobs or monsters in the world that would chase the player down in a way, right? So they wouldn't really pathfind, but they would see the player and try to get to him. We'd do that, and we'd have a very simple inventory system. And now, an inventory system is something that it can be very complex, and I've wanted to get to that for a while because that is like the most requested thing that I have seen. I mean, I get messages for that, and I don't get messages for a lot of stuff that are suggestions. It'd be great if I did, but when I do get a message for something, it's how to do either how to do Minecraft or how to do an inventory for an RPG or any game. So I want to do a simple RPG with a simple inventory and a simple combat system, and then work from there. And then I already have an inventory system that I made. I started working on it a little over a month ago, and I was going to do this inventory system and then release it for you guys to play around with and use. And if you want that, let me know. But if you want to learn how to do it, then I would suggest voting. There's not really a vote, but commenting and let me know you want to do the RPG. Or if you're interested in the runner, let me know. We can do that. We could do it for mobile, maybe. I don't know how that would work with me testing on a mobile device. Maybe I can just, I don't know. We'll just figure out something. And what else was there suggested? A couple people want the platformer, and I understand that. Not everybody likes the platformer tutorials that are already out there. Some of them are just not very good, low quality, and people that aren't too great. So let me know what you want. I want to do what you guys want, because the only reason I do these videos, or the only people that watch these videos are you guys, obviously. So I want to do what the majority of you want to see. I'm not going to be able to do something that everybody wants, but I want to do something that the majority of you want. And if I can do something that the majority of you guys want, plus other people that don't watch me want, and they'll come in and watch, and that'd be great for the channel and great for the website, because speaking of that, I need people on the forum. I have this one guy that is very dedicated to this, it seems like, and I really appreciate what he's doing. But he's been posting on the forum, knowing nobody's going to come by and talk to him, and it's just kind of it sucks for me and sucks for him, because I want this to happen, but people have to come, and he's trying really hard to get people to come and have a place to discuss things. I know there's plenty of other forums out there, but I want a place where we can discuss things that we do on the channel. I can get feedback and questions and answers and stuff like that. So I want people from this channel, if you do like my videos and you leave comments and stuff, just go sign up on the website, and then it's not like it costs anything, and there's a single ad. There's one ad. Is there one ad? I think there's one ad on the whole website. So it's not like I'm asking you guys to do this for money. I want to get a community started over there, and it's going slowly. But there's one guy who I can't remember his name, but I can see his icon is really being helpful, and I really appreciate it. So if you're watching, thank you, person. And that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments below what you want to see. Platformer, I can do that. The 2D RPG, we can go over a basic one. And the runner series would be kind of cool, I guess. Not really seen any of those on YouTube. Might be some, but who knows. Yeah, we'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. Follow me on Twitter at AwfulMedia. Follow me on Google+, AwfulMedia. Check out the website and the forum. My name is Austin, and I will see you next time.